playing in that Team USA camp for you?
I mean, it was a great experience. Any chance you have to put the USA on your chest, it's just, I'm so grateful for it, and I was excited that I got the opportunity. Unfortunate that I didn't make the team, but still a great experience. Had a lot of fun with the guys and the coaches there.
What was the actual time out there like? Like, what did you get to do, and who were you with?
We were in the gym a lot. It was like probably 5 hours a day, I think, and we really just played, tried to learn a little bit of the system that they were going to implement for the team, and just hanging around the guys that were in my class originally, the 2018 class, and then they had some guys in the 2019 class. So it was just a good time.
What sort of feedback did you get on your game, and what did the coaches tell you they liked about you, or things maybe you need to work on?
One thing that the coaches told Coach Holtman about is that they loved how ready I was to lead the group, and how I was able to pick up the things that they were coaching a little bit, just because I've been through it and I had the experience over the other guys.
You mentioned that all the guys there, or most of the guys there, were guys who were in your class, but you're the only one who had a year of college under his belt. I'm just curious, like, what those guys thought of you making that jump early, and if they were asking you any questions about what it was like.
Definitely. I wasn't too, I don't know the word, I guess famous last year, so they didn't really know at first until Coach Self said something, and then they started asking me just like, what was it like, what were the practices like, how intense were they, what campus life is like, and how they take care of you on campus.
There are a few guys there who I know that Ohio State's recruited. Did you have any guys coming up to you during the camp and kind of asking you about Ohio State and what it's like to be a Buckeye?
One of the guys that I know we're recruiting pretty hard, DJ Carton. I met him when he came on campus, and then I also knew him through AAU because we played in the same tournaments. So I already kind of had a relationship with him, so I talked to him about all of the stuff that would translate from the USA team to Ohio State, and then also I was rooming with Josiah James, which is another recruit, and so I just got to talk to him and give him a little bit more inside than he had originally, and then also Trace Jackson, who I played against in high school, and so I got to talk to him a little bit.
Even though you didn't make the team, did you feel like having that year of college experience, where there are things that maybe you noticed that you had developed over the past year that maybe other guys hadn't because they were straight out of high school?
Oh, for sure. Coach Self had the practices at a pretty high pace, which is how we practice here, and it's a lot different than high school or AAU practice, and so some of the guys, they weren't ready for that, and it took a couple times for them to pick up on the different offensive movements and the defensive movements and stuff like that. So I was quicker to act on that stuff and pick it up and kind of coach the guys with it.
Musa, you talked about kind of the unique way that you ended up here, graduating early and everything. Just in your mind, was that worthwhile? I mean, just how's this experience for the last year been for you, and do you feel like you got out of it what you were hoping to get out of it?
Definitely. You can always look back and see the little things that you could improve on from the past, but overall, I'm super satisfied with my choice in coming a year early. Wouldn't trade it for the world. I love this place. Fell in love with the team. All the guys there treated me well and brought me in like I was just a normal guy, and I wouldn't look at it any other way.
As you guys are going through this summer program, you lost some really good leaders with Tate and Bates Diop and Andrew, and just in your mind, who are some of the guys that are kind of filling that void and stepping up and trying to keep everybody? I know the coaches can't be there maybe 100% of the time, but who are the guys that are trying to be those type of leaders, I guess?
Definitely the first guys that pop up in my mind are CJ Jackson and Joey Lane. Those are the next oldest guys on the team, and they have that experience, and so the guys kind of automatically look to them. And I try to bring some leadership as well, just trying to lead by example, even though I'm still one of the youngest kids on the team. But I just try to show my work ethic and show what I learned from last year and try to carry that on.
Musa, a couple of your teammates have talked about having a complete offseason with Coach Q, and a dietitian has made a big difference for them. I'm wondering if you've noticed any impact that those people have had on you.
Definitely. They're in our ears 24/7. We see them every single day, before and after lifts. They've done a great job, personalizing the meals for us and making sure we have whatever we need. And they even say that we're not even taking full advantage of it, so they want us to keep on asking them questions and try to get everything we can out of the summer. And it's just exciting because this is my first full summer here because I wasn't here last summer, and so it's just awesome.
How do you notice the difference, Musa? Can you jump 3 inches higher? Do you wake up with more energy? Can you give us some concrete examples of what differences they have made?
For sure, you're definitely just more fueled throughout the day, and you can give more in the workouts, and you can see it in the guys who have really taken it on, pushing each other. There's high competition during our relay races or any of our lifts that we do, or in open gym. It's just high competition, high intensity.
You're doing relay races?
Yeah, we did yesterday.
That sounds fun.
Musa, you asked about that leadership void, and you talked about CJ. What is it about him that, obviously he's a veteran guy, but when you look for that leadership, what is it that he does that sets the tone for you all?
He's a point guard, so obviously point guard is usually going to be the head of the team. And last year, especially the guys that were here last year, got to see him handle the ball and deal with the tougher situations, and I feel like he handled them pretty well and maybe even excelled in some of the areas. So I have full faith in him personally on being a point guard and being a leader. And you can even see it. He's already improved so much since last year, whether it's being more confident or trying to get out of his comfort zone, trying to take the leadership role. But he's definitely improved a lot since last season.
And you were asked about, the decision, to come a year early, and then you referenced the summer that you have here. How does that change, just the way you feel about your game, and what is that, how will that translate, you think, into the second season?
Having the year under my belt, I definitely feel older, I guess you could say. Feel like I have more of a grasp on what I need to do and what the team needs me to do and what the coaches want me to be able to do. So that's pretty much what I'm focused on for the summer.
Musa, coaches talked about wanting to play 3 guards a lot next year. What does that mean for you? What do you have to improve to be a part of that setup?
Pretty much everything. I've been working out with Coach Shragi a lot, and we've been, drilling my ball handling, my finishes, my reacting off the move, off of ball screens, shooting, catch and shoot, pull-ups, everything. Just trying to have the full package and be comfortable out there.
When he talks about that 3-guard lineup, it's not just because personnel. I don't think we saw it a lot last year. Just what do you hope to get out of that? Maybe it's too early to ask, but just what's the benefit of having 3 guys out there who can handle the ball, 3 guys who can play the guard position?
From my experience with playing with a lot of guards, whether it's in AAU or high school basketball or even sometimes last year, it's just a faster pace, and then you don't have to rely on one person to take the whole load, and it makes it easier for each individual player, and things just flow a little bit better.
I know that guys can play a lot of different positions, and versatility is really important these days in college basketball, but do you think as you continue to progress in your career, are you more of a 2, more of a 3? Where do you think you ideally can play?
I try not to look into that. I'll let the coaches handle that. I see myself more as just a player that can fit into any system, and so if a coach wants me playing the 2 spot, playing the 3 spot, guarding 4s or guarding point guards, I'll be able to do it.
You talked about being able to give advice to some of the younger guys at that camp about what college is going to be like. I wonder what from that camp maybe helped you get prepared for your second season? Were there things, whether it was just, I don't know, Coach Self, like dealing with him? I mean, he's obviously won at a pretty high level, but just when you're around coaches like that, what sort of things did you take away from that camp that you're going to be able to use to make yourself a better player this year?
Definitely like what you said about Coach Self, the way he was coaching out there. I got to compare him against Coach Holtman, and they're different coaches, obviously, but they both have the same exact message, and so it's just probably putting even more trust than I already had in Coach Holtman and how he runs things.
How do they have the same message? What do you mean?
A lot of it's just trying to play team basketball, which I guess is pretty much most of the coach's message, but he harped on that 24/7. It was good.
I'll ask, you mentioned that maybe you weren't quite so famous here at Ohio State last year, but there was one game when they needed you the most that you really stepped up, was the game at Purdue. I think they were number 2 in the country, and I think you had 10 or 11 points in that game. Is that a moment that you take away from that season and just say what you're capable of doing when everything comes together, and make that the norm as opposed to the one-off type thing, I guess, going forward?
I guess so. I definitely want to be able to be more consistent in my game. I had a lot of ups and downs last year. Sometimes that's how it happens for freshmen, just trying to get your feet wet and learn the ropes from the older guys. So yeah, definitely this year, want to be more consistent, want to be able to produce on a consistent basis and have something that I can hang my hat on for every single game.
Do you go back and watch it or think about it, or I mean, that was a huge win for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. It was an awesome game. I've definitely watched the game multiple times, just trying to figure out what spots I was in, how I was successful in that game. And I've also watched the rest of my clips, and just to see how I was successful and how I was unsuccessful last year. But yeah, so I'm just trying to build off of that.
Are you guys watching the draft as a team tomorrow? I mean, what are your draft plans, I guess?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're watching it as a team. Everybody's super excited for Keita. Me personally, I love everything about Keita. He's a great person. He deserves this. I just hope the best for him and hope his career carries on for a long time. And I'm just excited for him.
I'm not inviting us all over. I'm just saying, where are you guys watching it?
I don't think we've decided on a location yet.
Okay.
As you've looked back on the film from your freshman season, and I assume talked with the coaches about goals and sort of takeaways from the year, what sort of feedback did the coaches give you on the freshman season that you had?
Definitely just what I said earlier, just being more consistent, being able to be a threat at all 3 levels on the floor, being a leader on the floor, just taking that next step. I was definitely in the freshman position last year, and now that we have new guys coming in and we lost our leadership, I just have to be able to, make a big jump and, kind of take the reins a little bit.
When we talked before the camp, you had mentioned that you were dealing with kind of an ankle injury. Did that hold you back at all when you were at the camp?
I'm not one to make excuses. I had a little over a week to prepare for it, and I felt like I gave it my best shot.
Did they give you feedback on why you didn't make the cut?
No, they did not. I texted Coach Self. He responded, but I didn't want to bug him too much because they were pretty busy winning games.
You mentioned, Keita. Have you been in touch with him much while he's gone through his process, or Jay Sean or Cam as well? Have you been in touch with those guys as they've gone through his draft process?
Yeah, I've probably talked to JT a little bit more. I've talked to Keita a little bit, but I just didn't want to bug him too much because I know how much, well, I don't know, but I can imagine how much time and effort and energy that they're putting into themselves and trying to give their best shot, so I didn't want to bother him too much.
Can you sell Jay Sean? I mean, just pretend you're his agent, because there's an outside chance they could hear his name tomorrow. What would an NBA team get if they picked him?
A hard worker and a great leader. He's going to give you everything he has every single day, and it doesn't matter whether it's open gym and he's playing middle schoolers or it's at in the NBA. Like, he's gonna give everything he has, and he has that strong edge to him. And if you tell him he's got to work on something, he's gonna put full 100% effort to work on it and give it his best shot.